Hey guys, welcome back to Explore. Today we'll talk about why Americans don't need a fourth stimulus check. Let's head into it. The fourth stimulus check. Over the last 15 months, 3 stimulus checks have helped Americans stay afloat, despite the ongoing economic recovery. Many people's financial situations have not improved. Unemployment remains far higher than it was prior to the pandemic, and millions of jobs have yet to be restored. Can we expect a fourth stimulus check to provide additional support? The third round of relief payments, courtesy of the American Rescue Plan, began almost 3 months ago. ARP, approximately 169 million people have received up to $1,400 each since then, totaling $395 billion out of the $422 billion set aside. Last week, 2.3 million checks and plus payments were distributed. The ARP checks came 9 months after the $600 payments made in January, which came 9 months after the $1,200 payment in the early days of the pandemic. Each of the relief payments was an attempt to protect people from the economic effects of COVID while also supporting the economy. They appear to have worked to some extent, prompting some to wonder if another stimulus check is required. Also, make sure to write your thoughts in the comment section. Economic recovery for some. The U.S. economy grew at a 6.4% annualized rate in the first quarter of 2021, faster than the 4.3% rate in the fourth quarter of 2020. According to the Conference Board, growth will be 9.0% in the second quarter and will continue throughout the year. At some point, the increase could even reach double digits. The country's gross domestic, GDP, a measure of overall economic activity, is close to where it was prior to the pandemic. Experts predict that by the summer, it will have returned to pre-pandemic levels. The increase in first quarter GDP reflected the continued economic recovery, reopening of establishments, and continued government response related to the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. During the pandemic, a large portion of the workforce has experienced little economic hardship. Many jobs that can be done at a desk in an office can also be done at a desk in someone's home. Many Americans have been saving more as a result of having fewer places to spend money during the pandemic, plus 3 stimulus checks. In April of 2020, the personal saving rate soared to 33.7%, and it has remained well above pre-pandemic levels ever since. It was 14.9% in April 2021, still well above where it was before the pandemic. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan recently stated on Face the Nation that his customers have not spent 65 to 70% of their stimulus check. Pent-up demand is given the broader economy as it continues to open up, with many households sitting on a lot more money than they did in early 2020. This number has risen across the country. House prices above the median aided much of that increase. Although housing inventory increased in March, it was still down 20.5% from the previous year. In April, 88% of the homes that sold were on the market for less than a month. The stock market is also performing well. The Dow Jones Industrial Average opened up Monday morning at 34,397, close to its early May highs. Despite concerns about inflation and supply chain issues, this is the case. Individual investors have poured money into the market, fueled by additional stimulus funds. As the year progresses, larger investors are betting on a strong economic recovery. A fourth stimulus check is unlikely. The possibility of another round of stimulus checks, or reoccurring stimulus checks, is kept alive by all of this tact and explicit support. However, it doesn't make either of them likely. There are numerous reasons for this. Vaccinations are moving along nicely. Adults and those aged 16 and up are now eligible for vaccinations in all 50 states, with some states allowing vaccinations for children as young as 12 years old. The public can choose from 3 different options: putting needles in arms, however, taking time even when supplies are plentiful. Over 310 million doses have been administered in the United States, with 52.5% of the population receiving at least 1 dose and 43.7% being fully vaccinated. Vaccination rates are still rising at a rate of more than 1 million doses per day. In the most indoor and outdoor settings, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has advised that fully vaccinated people can avoid masks and social distancing. The nation's economy continues to improve as vaccination rates rise and guidance becomes less stringent. States and local governments have eased restrictions, making it easier for businesses to operate. Jobs are available in a variety of fields. Many industries are even citing labor shortages as a problem. The 4-week average for new unemployment claims continues to decline. While consumer confidence is much higher than it was during the pandemic, it may soon begin to wane as inflation remains a worry. Optimism about businesses and the job market may start to wane as well. Consumer spending accounts for 2/3 of the country's GDP. People's spending power has been boosted by the third stimulus check, as well as excess pandemic savings. When monthly child tax credit payments begin in July, that spending power will increase even more. In general, a better financial position inspires hope for the future. The ongoing vaccinations, which will allow the economy to safely reopen, are undoubtedly beneficial. All of that extra spending, combined with the release of pent-up demand, should result in more jobs being created as businesses hire to meet consumer demands. A fourth round of stimulus checks appears less necessary now that the economy is opening up and gaining traction. Let's see if people still need more help. Neurosician says, let's see how the economy does as things continue to open up, vaccination rates rise, and things return to some semblance of normalcy. Let's take a look at the unemployment figures. Are people still behind on their rents, mortgages, and other bills? Let's see if we need to inject more spending into the economy based on that. Right now, I'd say wait and see. Aside from the improving economy, the Washington's political maneuvers make a fourth stimulus check difficult. The American Rescue Plan, which included the third stimulus check, was overwhelmingly approved by both parties. Republicans were adamant about not spending more than $1.9 trillion, though some did support the third payment. They dubbed the package a blue state bailout, claiming that it went far beyond COVID's scope and would increase the deficit, causing inflation. The Biden administration, on the other hand, has other priorities. One of the most important is passing the infrastructure plan, which is also being opposed by Republicans. The $2.3 trillion American Jobs Plan, which was later reduced to $1.7 trillion during negotiations, aims to rebuild roads, bridges, eliminate lead pipes, expand broadband, modernize the country's electric grid, and much more. Another stimulus check is not included. One could theoretically be added at a higher overall cost. Republicans are opposed to the plan because it relies heavily on higher corporate taxes. They would be hesitant to support a further increase in corporate taxes to cover another payment. Another $1.8 trillion would be spent on the American Families Plan, which would also focus on children, education, and paid family leave. Another stimulus check is also not included in this plan's current version. Though one could theoretically be added, the American Families Plan would be funded, according to the administration, by higher taxes on the wealthy. Republicans are likely to oppose these tax hikes as well. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, one of the most centrist Democrats in the Senate, has warned against overusing reconciliation. He also appears to be opposed to eliminating the filibuster, which would reduce the number of votes required to pass legislation from 60 to 51. The Biden administration is in a tough spot because bipartisanship is still hard to come by. They're not likely to add a fourth stimulus check to either plan, bringing the total cost to hundreds of billions of dollars. They're also unlikely to use reconciliation on its own to pass another stimulus check. What do you think about a possible fourth stimulus check? Do you think Americans need one? Let us know in the comments section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I am sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.